How's it going, guys? Auden finally calls out another professional arm wrestler. Travis talks about a possible left arm comeback, and Brian Shaw uploads some intriguing training footage. All this and more in today's video. Alright, so let's start off with Auden Larrett. So just recently he put out a video. He's calling out Artem Taranenko. Rumors of this match have been floating around for a while now, and I'm happy that it has finally gotten some kind of acknowledgement from Auden. This is an exciting match because it would be the first time where we see Auden go against an established arm wrestler, and I would call Artem a professional arm wrestler, even though he's not necessarily at the world elite level yet. We saw him lose pretty badly to Mindaugas Terasaitis, but there's no shame in that. Even though Mindaugas was quite a bit lighter than him, Artem is still a very good arm wrestler, and I would say in NA he's probably near the top. I believe he pulls in the 198-pound class, so this is an interesting match. Previously I said that I believe Artem is way too much for Auden, and it seems like that might not actually be the case. Engen put out a video of two possible opponents that he thought Auden should face instead of Artem, because he said, well, if you say that you'll crush Mindaugas, and Mindaugas crushed Artem, why would you want to face Artem? And that whole debacle was just a bunch of smack talk. It was during a podcast, and Auden was getting kind of riled up by Mindaugas. I would actually be excited for this match. But we have to acknowledge one thing, and this is something that Auden has been criticized for a while now, and that is that he only pulls guys that weigh less than him and that are at least a foot shorter than him. And unfortunately, that would again be the case. I believe Auden right now weighs about 230 pounds, and like I said previously, Artem pulls in the 198 class. So this would be a huge height and weight disparity, but I actually think this would be a good match. Artem ran through Coach Ray in, I believe it was the Arizona State Championships last year, and I know Coach Ray is more of an endurance-based puller, so he does better in super matches. But that, to me, is still pretty impressive, and Artem has only gotten better since then, obviously. So I think this could be a pretty good match. Artem doesn't have the best hand, but he's got really good side pressure. He has the ability to just plow sideways without his hand. And I think against Auden, obviously Auden has a very good top roll, a good open top roll. So Artem probably gets his hand taken in this match, but I do believe he would have the side pressure to be able to finish it. And Auden does not have the ability to hold when his arm gets opened up, especially if he can't drop his shoulder below the table. So this to me is a really fun match. I want to see how Auden does against established arm wrestlers, and Artem has a pretty good resume. He's improving. Both of these guys are improving very quickly. They're both up-and-comers in North America, so why not put them against each other? So then we can finally see how Auden stacks up against real competition. So let me know, do you think I've been underestimating Auden? Perhaps I have been. Puberty hit this guy like a truck, and he's just ballooned up. I can't believe that he's 230 pounds, but he's just gotten so big in the past year. So I wouldn't be surprised if his strength gains were just leaps and bounds beyond what I would have imagined. Alright, let's move on. Engen did a recent interview with Travis Bagent, and I think the one thing that we all want to hear when Travis gets on the mic is, when are you going to pull next? Who is your next opponent? Are you going to make a comeback? And Travis is kind of like Denis Saplankov, where they've been out of the game for a little while, and they're kind of always teasing a comeback. So Travis, he has competed in some smaller tournaments, and he still pulls, but we hadn't seen him in super matches for a while until we got the Corey West match and the Sergey Kalinchenko match. And it's kind of the same with Denis Saplankov, where he is out of the game for a while. It's always kind of hard to tell the form that he's in, because he'll go from struggling with Schoolboy to just stonewalling David Dadikin. And so it's kind of hard to know what level these guys are at. So Travis has been teasing his comeback for a while now. He's had a couple matches. He lost pretty badly to Corey West and Sergey Kalinchenko, but he destroyed Derek Smith on the left arm, which unfortunately right now, beating Derek Lewis is not a very prestigious accomplishment. I like Derek, and I'd love to see him get to the top of the sport, but at the moment, he's just not at the world elite level. So anyways, getting back to the interview, what caught my attention was that Travis basically wants to make a slow comeback. He wants to get put into some easy matches and basically work his way up to a match with Devin. And he actually said Devin. I'm not just making this up. He wants to work his way up to a match on the left arm with Devin. And I would love to see this. We would all love to see this. It doesn't seem like Travis has that young man drive in him anymore. Like I was just saying, he's kind of been making a comeback for a while now. And it just doesn't seem like he has that drive that the other top guys have right now. But I really hope this time he's serious and that we're going to be able to see an in-shape Travis Bagent compete at the highest level on the left arm. But let me know what you think. Is Travis just trying to fabricate hype and stay relevant? He's going to be relevant regardless of whether he pulls or not. But do you think he's talking out of his rear end? I don't know what to believe when this guy talks. He is a legend, and it would be great to see him competing at the top level once again. Okay, let's move on. So Mindaugas was featured in a recent video uploaded by Samuelson and friends. And this is the Magnus Samuelson, the strong man. He's got one of the strongest grips in the world. I believe he's closed the Captains of Crush 4.0. Something like, it's almost 400 pounds of grip strength. So this guy's got crazy strength genetics, and he's got somewhat of a background in arm wrestling, but you can tell that his technique is very unrefined. In this video, he says that he is trying to get his son into arm wrestling, and him and Mindaugas do some training together, and Mindaugas is teaching him. So this is pretty exciting because Magnus's son is very much into grip strength, and he's a pretty big guy like his dad, so I'd imagine he would compete in the super heavyweight category, and he's certainly got the genetics for it. I mean, Magnus Samuelson. So if you don't know who Magnus Samuelson is, just type his name in YouTube, watch a compilation. He's a really incredible guy, and from the video, they seem like really nice people as well. So it's always exciting to see promising young guys get into the sport, especially in North America. It really feels like we just don't have that many prospects when compared to the Eastern European countries. And I know that Magnus is not from the US, but still, it's good to see young guys with potential getting into the sport. All right, moving on. So Brian Shaw uploaded a video called Perfecting My Press, and this is just kind of a typical training video. They practice the press, but they also practice top rolling, all kinds of stuff. It was just your average practice pool video. And in this video, we just see Brian working his technique. He works on rising during the match and then transitioning to the press. It was a really good video, and I'm glad to see that he's staying consistent. Early on when he got into arm wrestling, we all kind of had the question, is he going to stick with it? Because at the time he was also doing MMA training, and it does seem like this is the main focus from Brian Shaw right now. And it's good to see that he's really not concerned with his next match right now. He has said that he's just focusing on training, getting stronger, refining his technique, and that's good to hear. He's such a big, strong guy, and oftentimes when you are strong, actually learning good technique becomes very difficult because a lot of the time you can beat your opponents without technique just because you have such a significant strength advantage over them. So you just never really end up developing good technique. So it's good to see that Brian is taking the time to practice with knowledgeable pullers so that he can actually compete at a high level, because eventually he will run into other genetic freaks that aren't just strong, that also have technique to go along with it. So anyways, I just thought I would mention that. Brian Shaw is committed, and this is really exciting for fans of arm wrestling because I think he could potentially draw more strongmen into the sport, and obviously he's so famous he can bring a lot of fans to the sport as well. Okay, last but not least, Genadi has been putting out bangers recently. He just broke the record, the world record for the pronation lift. I'll have that on the screen right now. Just take a look at this lift and bow down to Genadi's might. This is incredible stuff from Genadi. Devin stands no chance. And just a few days before he uploaded this terrifying lift, he uploaded a different video where he looked visibly angry. He has had enough of Devin calling him a dog, and I knew this made Genadi mad. I knew back when Devin started the whole dog thing that it would get under Genadi's skin. And in the video he says, yeah, in Georgia, calling someone a dog is an insult. I was letting it slide, you know, for the show, for the sport. I was letting it slide, but I've had enough. He said, if I'm a dog, then you are my puppy. He even said, Devin, I could train hard for 3 days with no sleep, call you out and still win. So Genadi is sick of Devin underestimating him, thinking that his spirit's broken. And although this is a success on the side of Devin, I don't necessarily think this helps him. This is just motivating Genadi even more. You know what? With every passing day, I'm starting to think Genadi's a little bit more dangerous than people are making him out to be. I don't think this is going to be a 3-0 beatdown like the current narrative would suggest. But I don't know. Let me know what you think. Is it smart for Devin to keep poking the bear? Or should he chill out a little bit and show some respect? Alright fellas, that is all I've got for today. Thank you so much for watching. Also, here's a side note. I would like to start featuring arm wrestling lifts in the beginning of my video. So if you would like your lift to be featured during the intro of the video, just post a link to your video in the comments and I will go through the comments and choose one to feature in the next video. This doesn't have to be a super impressive lift. If you send a video and you're just hitting a PR of 20 pounds on your riser, you're not going to be more or less likely to get chosen based off of how impressive your lift is. I just want to have a little spotlight for guys that want to show off their lift. So anyways, if you have a lift, just post a link to it in the comments and you might get featured in the next video. All right, thanks for watching guys. Once again, have a great day. Bye.